It was a crisp Saturday morning in early January when I fired up the old John Deere tractor in my barn and started pushing snow off the long driveway of my 3-acre lot on the edge of Pine Ridge Estates, a tidy suburban development outside Columbus, Ohio. The storm had dropped 8 solid inches overnight, and at 34, working remotely as a software developer, I figured I'd get ahead of it before the roads turned into ice rinks. Little did I know that simple act of clearing my own property would ignite a firestorm that exposed years of corruption, toppled a petty tyrant, and changed an entire neighborhood for the better. My name is Ethan Harper. I'd bought the place 6 months earlier from the estate of an elderly widower named Mr. Whitaker, a retired farmer who'd held onto his land as subdivisions sprang up around it like weeds. The property came with a sturdy barn, the tractor he'd used for decades, and enough open space that I could finally stretch out after years in a downtown apartment. It felt like freedom. I was halfway through the driveway, neat banks of snow piling up on either side, when a sleek silver SUV rolled to a stop at the end. Out stepped a woman in her late 40s, dressed in expensive boots that weren't made for snow and a white puffy coat that screamed, "I don't do weather." Her hair was perfectly styled in that unmistakable bob, and the scowl on her face could have melted the drifts. I kept working, engine rumbling, assuming she'd see I was occupied and leave. Instead, she marched right up the driveway, arms waving. I killed the throttle to neutral and waited. "Excuse me," she called over the diesel growl. "You need to stop this right now." I pulled off my gloves. "Morning. Can I help you?" "I'm Karen Whitaker, no relation to the previous owner, president of the Pine Ridge Estates Homeowners Association. You're in violation of multiple covenants, and I'm ordering you to shut that thing down immediately." I blinked. "I'm plowing my own driveway. What's the violation?" She pulled out her phone with gloved fingers, scrolling dramatically. Section 12, Paragraph 4. No commercial vehicles or heavy equipment on residential lots between 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. weekdays, or before 10 a.m. weekends. It's 7:45 on a Saturday, and you're running industrial machinery. "First," I said evenly, "this isn't commercial. It's a farm tractor that came with the property. Second, I'm on my own land, not bothering anyone. How is this your business?" Her cheeks flushed, probably not just from the cold. "Everything in Pine Ridge Estates is the association's business, Mr. Harper. You agreed to the covenants when you closed. This equipment is unsightly, and the noise disturbs the peaceful enjoyment of the neighborhood. The previous owner ran this tractor for 30 years, I pointed out. Nobody complained then. Mr. Whitaker had a grandfathered exemption because his parcel predated the HOA. That exemption expired with the sale. You're fully subject to current rules." She smiled like she'd won already. "You'll need to hire a professional service. They can't start until after 10 on weekends." "That's ridiculous," I said. "By 10 the snow will be frozen solid. I need this clear now so I can get out if I have to." "Not my concern. Turn it off before I take further steps. Such as, I'll call the sheriff and report you for operating dangerous equipment in violation of community standards, plus a $500 noise fine. Each day you continue adds more, with interest, until it becomes a lien on your property." I stared at her, weighing whether she was bluffing. The look in her eyes said she wasn't. "Fine. Call them. Let's see what they think about a guy plowing snow on his own land." Her eyes narrowed. "You think I won't? I think you'll waste everybody's time. But go ahead." She dialed. I restarted the tractor and went back to work, watching in the mirror as she paced and spoke into the phone. 20 minutes later, I'd finished the driveway and was clearing the path to the barn when a Franklin County Sheriff's cruiser pulled in. I shut down, climbed off, and met the deputy in the yard. He was young, maybe late 20s, with the calm demeanor of someone who'd seen worse on a Saturday morning. "Morning, Deputy Ramirez. Got a call about a dispute." "Morning, Deputy. That lady over there is upset I'm plowing my driveway." He glanced at Karen, arms crossed by her SUV, then back at me. "She mentioned HOA violations and dangerous equipment. It's a farm tractor. Came with the place. Just clearing so I can get to work if needed." He walked around the machine, inspecting. "Looks maintained. Got a license for it. Don't need one on private property. Not taking it on roads." He nodded. "Correct." He asked for my deed. I pulled up digital copies on my phone. He reviewed, noted something, confirmed the 3 acres were mine, no shared easements. Karen marched over. Deputy, are you going to make him stop? He's clearly violating our rules. Deputy Ramirez turned, a flicker of irritation crossing his face. Ma'am, HOA covenants are civil matters, not criminal. Sheriff's office doesn't enforce them. But the equipment is dangerous. On his own land, he said patiently, it's legal. Ohio law allows farm equipment on private property without restriction unless it's hazardous to others. Nothing hazardous here. The noise is a nuisance. County noise ordinance starts at 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. weekdays, 8 a.m. weekends. It's past 8:15 now. Even if it applied, he's clear. Karen looked like she'd swallowed vinegar. So he can just ignore our standards? What he does on private property, if it's legal under county and state law, is his business. HOA disputes go to civil court. She turned purple. This is outrageous. I'll file a complaint with your supervisor. You're right, ma'am. He turned to me quietly. Sorry for the hassle, Mr. Harper. You're good to go. Keep it on your land. Thanks, deputy. He left. Karen stood vibrating with fury, then stomped to her SUV and peeled out, slush flying. I thought that was the end. I was wrong. 3 days later, a certified letter arrived from a downtown law firm. Formal notice, $1,500 fine for willful violations, prohibited equipment, disturbing the peace. Pay in 30 days, or it escalates $500 monthly plus interest, lien to follow. The absurdity hit me hard. They were trying to lien my home over snow removal. I photographed the letter, posted the story online with details. It spread fast, thousands of shares, outrage pouring in. Local news picked it up. Channel 10 sent a crew. Reporter Lisa Morales listened carefully, eyebrows rising at the letter. They aired the piece that evening. Me with the tractor, Deputy Ramirez's statement confirming legality, then Karen in a blazer, pearls, and smug confidence. Mr. Harper bought into a deed-restricted community, she said smoothly. He knew the rules designed to protect property values and quality of life. His defiance affects everyone. Lisa asked about the deputy's confirmation. Karen doubled down. Law enforcement has no jurisdiction over private agreements. Our counsel assures us our position is solid. We'll pursue all remedies. The segment closed with Lisa asking the big question. Can an HOA restrict legal activities on private land? My phone exploded. Neighbors called, people I'd barely met. Tom and Gwen next door, said Karen, and the board had terrorized residents for years. Fines for roses without approval, swing sets visible from the street, cars parked in driveways instead of garages. Dozens shared violation notices. One family fined for a child's basketball hoop. Another for mailbox color slightly off. I started a file. This wasn't about standards, it was control. 2 weeks later, another letter. Mandatory disciplinary hearing at the community center. Saturday, 7 p.m. Failure to attend escalates fines and lien. Tom warned me. It's a kangaroo court. They've already decided. No lawyers allowed. Ohio's one-party consent for recording. I brought my phone battery full. The room held about 15 residents, including Tom and his wife. Karen sat at the head table with 4 board members, folders ready like prosecutors. Mr. Harper, she announced, you're charged with 1. Prohibited equipment. 2. Noise disturbance. 3. Willful defiance. 4. Damaging community reputation via media. 5. Failure to request modification for equipment storage. I nearly laughed at 4. I'm charged with talking to the news. You portrayed us negatively, harming values. I told the truth. If that's negative, look at your actions. Murmurs of agreement. Karen banged a gavel, actual gavel. How do you plead? This isn't court, I said. You can't prohibit legal use of my property. A board member, Ellen Brooks, leaned in. You signed the covenants. Legally binding. I read them. Nothing bans farm equipment on agricultural zone land. Mine is zoned agricultural. Karen faltered, checked laptop. Even so, you defied a direct order and violated noise rules. Deputy confirmed no violation. HOA presidents don't override law. You're difficult, she snapped. Our rules maintain standards. Your attitude doesn't fit. What standards? Finding roses? Swing sets? I've got 30 emails documenting harassment. The room erupted. People shouted stories. Karen banged again. Order. This is about Mr. Harper. Tom stood. Half this room's been fined for nonsense. When do we address that? Sit, or you're next. The board deliberated. Right there. Fined $3,000. Prohibited from tractor use. Further violations $1,000 each. Restraining order possible. I stood. You have no authority to ban legal activity on my land. Covenants give us that. Disagree? See a judge. I will. And I'll request a full audit of finances. Ohio law. 15% of owners can demand one. I have signatures from 32, about 20%, for 5 years back. I placed the folder on the table. Karen stared like it was poison. Hearing adjourned. She stood abruptly. Applause as I left. Tom caught me outside. Brilliant. Her face. I think something's wrong with the money, I said. The next weeks brought cease and desist letters threatening suit if I didn't drop the audit and pay. I hired Mark Reynolds, an attorney specializing in HOA fights. Mark reviewed everything. You've done my homework. Excessive fines, unsupported restrictions, bad faith escalation. Audit request is strong. Boards fight this hard when there's dirt. He petitioned court for injunction against fines/lien and to compel audit. Hearing day, cold February courthouse. Karen with their lawyer, Victor Hale, looking annoyed. Judge Harlan Webb reviewed filings. So Mr. Harper's fined and threatened foreclosure for plowing snow on his property? Victor started. It's complex. I'm sure, Judge cut in. But crux is that. Mark explained. Legality confirmed, retaliatory fines, neighbor testimonies, financial discrepancies in reports. Judge to Victor. Evidence of actual damage? Valid covenant breach. Victor. Broad authority to maintain standards. Spirit doesn't override text, Judge said dryly. No ban on farm equipment on AG land. No noise violation. Injunction granted. No enforcement of fines. Audit within 30 days. Full accounting 5 years. Results to court and requesters. Karen gasped. Victor protested privacy. Judge, should have thought of that before threats. Audit by forensic CPA Laura Bennett took 6 weeks. Board resisted, needed court orders, suspicious. Findings, $460,000 collected in dues/assessments/fines over 5 years. Legitimate expenses under $190,000. $270,000 missing via fake invoices, inflated legal bills to Victor, payments to Pine Ridge Consulting, owned by Karen. $3,000 monthly fee for services already covered by management company. Fines funneled to her firm. Embezzlement. Fraud. Mark and Laura presented to prosecutor. Detective confirmed, expanded to Victor's kickbacks. Late April, arrests. Karen, 23 counts theft/fraud. Victor, conspiracy. News exploded. Trial September. I testified about tractor incident and escalation. Laura on finances. Dozens of neighbors on petty fines and pressure. Jury, guilty all counts after under 4 hours. Sentencing November. Judge Webb. You betrayed trust, treated neighbors as personal bank. Calculated fraud over years. Demands serious punishment. Karen, 8 years prison, $270,000 restitution. Victor, for years, disbarred. Restitution distributed. I got back over $4,000, covered legal costs. New board, Tom as president, reformed. Cut petty rules, reduced dues 30%, transparent changes needing vote. Community center renamed Whitaker Center, plaque honoring independence. Ohio passed reforms 2026, mandatory biennial audits, ombudsman office for complaints. I still live here. Still plow with the John Deere. Now help elderly neighbors too. No complaints. Coffee offered instead. The tractor became symbol, property rights, standing against bullies, community power when united. Karen's scheme thrived on isolation. Once neighbors compared notes, it collapsed. If you're in an HOA nightmare, document, no rights, get audit if suspicious, hire specialist lawyer. Talk to neighbors. Most important, stand up. Small acts spark big change. What do you think? Have you dealt with HOA overreach or seen power abused in your community? Drop your thoughts in the comments, especially on injustice and standing up to bullies. Where do you draw the line between rules and tyranny? I'd love to hear your stories and opinions.